Hi, this is James. Welcome back to the channel. So glad you are here. This is a special bonus video. And full disclosure, I believe in personal growth. I've been striving to grow as a leader, as a minister, ever since I graduated seminary back in 2011. And one of my favorite books, besides the Bible, I think that this book right here is the best book I've ever read. And it's been a while. So what I was doing was I was listening to the audio book of this. And I had this huge epiphany. He was talking about, John Maxwell was talking about the law of process. And he was saying that early on in his career, and you have to understand when you read his books, he'll talk about his first job and his second job and his third job. Those were churches. He's a former Presbyterian minister. Anyway, he said that he started off in leadership by using a lot of his personality. He thought his personality would help get him through. And he realized that in order to grow as a leader, it's a process. He says in his book that leadership develops daily, not in a day. And so I want to read this quote. This is actually from Theodore Roosevelt, one of our best presidents. In fact, Brene Brown quotes this in her book, Daring Greatly. So I'm going to put it up on the screen when I edit this, because this is really important. He says, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat." The reason I read that is because, as you grow as a leader, you learn from mistakes, you keep growing, you read books, you learn from other people, but you don't try to just lead because you're charming and a great speaker. But that personality, leading by personality, that's one of the keys to some of these people. Think about it. What do we know about Robert Morris, formerly of Gateway Church, Mike Bickle, formerly of IHOP, Kansas City, Kip McKeon, who started the International Churches of Christ and then ended up splitting away and starting another group called the International Christian Church. And he recently retired from them. All three of these people and more that are on a lot of the TV preachers, it's about their personality and their charm, and they got funny stories to tell. And they didn't do the work of being a leader behind, in their study, behind closed doors. In fact, I just read a book recently by a guy who co-founded the Kansas City Fellowship with Mike Bickle, that said that when Mike was in Bible school, he would literally listen to sermons from, I forgot the name of the minister, but he would listen to this guy's sermons and he would copy them down, and he would preach someone else's sermon word for word. Talk about cheating. Hello. You need to dig into the scriptures, study for yourself, dig into the commentaries, and do the work. And I wrote this down earlier, and this is where I truly believe that there's a similarity between ministers who fall, ministers who end up crashing hard because they're leading by personality and they're not leading, they didn't become strong leaders through that process. This could end up being a book. I really do think so. Leadership is more than pushing people to work hard, smiling on the platform, and telling a funny story. You have to do the work. When I graduated seminary, it was May 14th, 2011. I remember distinctly, we were in a fellowship hall. We were going to go into the sanctuary. It was a Disciples of Christ seminary. So we were at First Christian Church, Tulsa. We're about to go into the sanctuary. We're about to have the ceremony. And the people in front of me said, "Oh man, I'm so glad I'm graduating. I'm never going to read another stupid book again." We got the tip of the iceberg at seminary. In fact, the truth is, the older I get, the more I realize what I don't know. But I made a promise to myself that I was going to read at least one book a month for the rest of my life. Because I want to grow. I want to learn. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm not going to stop. But these people that have done some really horrendous things, they lack in character. And they try to make up for it by smiling a lot and the personality and telling funny stories. And it's all a cult of personality. Now, I even looked up what cult of personality, the definition. It says this, I looked it up on Google. It says, a cult of personality is a system that creates an idealized image of a leader, often through propaganda, mass media, and other techniques. If you don't think this applies to Robert Morris, go back to the situation when he had the hematoma and he had to be rushed to the emergency room. They put that on TBN and we're like, look what happened to Robert Morris, but he people prayed for him and God got him through it and it was a miracle. Why did they need to make that such a public thing? Because it garnered sympathy for him. It put him in a much better light. That's when I first actually learned about Robert Morris. I was flipping through the channels, saw the thing on TBN, and that's when I started reading his books. And looking back on it, it's like all it was just they used that story to try to get more people to watch his show on TBN, to try to get more people to buy books. And it's sad. Now, hopefully, this is why I have hope for Gateway Church. Because if they follow what, and you had to pay attention to it when Joachim Lundquist said his story at Gateway about his experience with his church in Sweden, how their pastor left and became Catholic, they didn't replace him with one person, they replaced him with 3. If they do that at Gateway Church, that will be a huge step in the right direction. Because then you don't have a cult of personality. You have people holding each other accountable. And that's what we want. So, anyway, if you are new, please hit like and subscribe. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And I will see you tomorrow.